Hi, I'm Diane Warren. We're going to talk about music, songs, Oscar nominations, all kinds of shit. Here we go.
Diane, thank you so much for your time and for inviting me over to your studio. So great to chat.
My pleasure.
So to start, I would love to kind of know, kind of looking at your background, remembering back when, kind of early on in your life, what was that point that you had music kind of enter your life and it made like kind of a significant impact on you?
You know, I don't remember a time when music wasn't important to me. Even when I was like, 'cause I have older sisters that are a lot older than me, and I got to hear their records, you know, when I was like literally born, you know, and then, you know, my mom and dad played, you know, a lot of show tune kind of records at the time, like Man of La Mancha or My Fair Lady or things like that. So I got this amazing, you know, diet of great music, like even when I wasn't even, you know, hardly aware of anything. And then I saw the Beatles, you know, as I was really little on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, wow.
And that was like galvanizing. I think things like that, you know, whether it's, you know, the Beatles, maybe back in the day, Elvis, or anything that's like, you know, you know, Michael Jackson, or just something that's galvanizing, like just that's so great, you know, that's undeniable, and it kind of lights a fire in you, and you know, that did that for me.
And when did you want it to, I guess, at what point did you decide, okay, this is going to be my career, this is what I want to do with my life?
Oh, I knew that about 7 years old.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's amazing.
I wanted to be the little parenthesis. Back when they had records, kids, they had things called 45s. They're called singles. And well, they're still singles, but these were actual physical singles. And yeah, and they used to have the credits, you know, done the right way, unlike Spotify that has all my credits wrong, but I'd have to fix all that. But yeah, those little parentheses would have the writers in there, and I would look in there and go, I want to be one of those people. I don't want to be the one singing. You know, I want to be
you never had a desire to be on
God,
stage?
No.
Just to kind of just write the lyrics and kind of write the music?
Write the words and music and kind of be in the background and just do what I do.
That's amazing.
You know? Yeah.
So was it, I guess, hard to kind of get your, I mean, how do you kind of go about starting that kind of career? I mean, what kind of...
I just did it. Like nothing was going to, like my song, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, like my first nominated song. You know, nothing, there wasn't a plan B.
Yeah.
You know, it was this or, literally this or nothing, because I am literally...
So you're just shopping your songs around, just hoping someone would
I was,
pick it up?
you know, I was like 15 years old. My dad was taking me to publishers.
That's amazing.
And I was a little arrogant little, you know, brat, you know, basically. I was very confident for all the wrong reasons. I had nothing to be confident about, but I thought I was a lot better than I was. But I guess that's good, because you know what?
You need confidence.
You need that.
You do, yeah, absolutely.
I think probably I still think I am.
Well, at this stage, I think you've earned it a little bit. Yeah. So looking back early on in your career, what were some kind of big lessons that you learned kind of early on that you took note of, that you kind of learned from and that you really applied to yourself and kind of helped you shape the career that you have now? Well,
I mean, the lessons that I've always known that hard work is key, you know, and to show up and do the work, you know. And I knew that when I was little because, you know, I was like a kind of a juvenile delinquent, and I was getting, you know, kicked out of schools and all kinds of stuff. But I didn't care about school. It wasn't music. It wasn't like, you know, writing songs. And you know, when I got really, you know, hardcore attached to it, and I started when I was about 11 to really do it, like, you know. But when I was 14, I became like just obsessive, you know, and made my dad get me a subscription to Billboard, and I would kind of know who wrote every song and who sang every song, you know, and just, you know, I just always put the time in, I always put the work in, and no different than now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's talk a little bit about your writing process.
I show up and I work on, it's just, I don't know what the process is. Like I never really, you know, when people go, well, what's the process? I don't know, you know, I don't know. It's always something different. Sometimes I'm just playing chords, you know. I don't like to dissect what I do.
Right. Do you know, do you know where the first note comes from, or is it just, you can't just explain that?
You know, it comes from somewhere,
yeah.
You know. I mean, you know, it's always where inspiration hits you, and it might just be a title, or it might be a chord sequence that makes you sing something. You know, I don't, because it's not here, it's here.
Yeah, absolutely. And does it I'm sure it will differentiate, but like, does usually a lyric come to your mind first, or maybe
a concept,
or a
title?
So like a title of a song will spark something.
It could, yeah, and it does that a lot of times.
Wow, that's interesting. So I mean, songs are, I mean, I think songs are such a beautiful part of our culture and just like our human
Powerful.
condition.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a reflection of ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah.
Do you typically, are you pulling from your own life experiences, or are you looking at the world around you and kind of making a commentary on what you see?
Since I have no life and I don't know anything about love and stuff like that, I have a really good imagination. So it's not necessarily my life stories,
Yeah.
but I can relate to it. And when I'm in that character, I was just telling someone earlier today, actually, it's almost like method songwriting. It's like when an actor becomes that role, you know, and they're just, enmeshed in that character, right? So when I'm writing that song, you know, when I'm sitting at that piano, I am feeling every feeling that character's going through. And some of it might even be me, you know. I peek through sometimes.
Yeah. Is
Depending on the song.
I mean, is it a vulnerable process at all? Like,
No.
No, you don't find it.
No, because I'm not writing my,
Yeah, it's not.
innermost secrets, because, that's not, I'm not really one of those,
Yeah, so it's not, your songs are not a autobiography.
Not
of it.
necessarily.
Right.
Although I like some songs maybe more than others. There's some,
And since you do write songs that eventually either get written for a specific artist or get taken by a certain artist, what's that relationship that you have with the performer? Is that special at all, or is it just
probably not to them, but sometimes I don't really know these artists that well, and it's just we're in the studio doing a song, and sometimes it's more of a relationship, and we're more friends. It's always different.
If you get, how often, I mean, do artists come, of course, I'm sure they come to you and be like...
Yeah, some people come to me, and then sometimes I'm writing a song, and I think that's right for somebody, and I'll just call them. Sometimes I reach out on Twitter.
Really?
If I don't know them, I'll private message, hey, song sounds like you.
Yeah, do you have to adapt yourself to kind of maybe their style or their image?
I don't really adapt. I try to write a great song. I don't want to adapt it to one person when I'm writing the song. When they do the song, they can adapt it to themselves.
Right. And so in your definition, what is a great song?
It's hard to, you know it when you hear it, don't you?
Yeah.
You feel it. You don't even know it, because it's more feel than know. I mean, it's a great melody, it's a great lyric that are meant to be together.
Yeah, absolutely. Does writer's block ever occur for you?
Not a lot. Good. Not a lot. I get stuck on little parts of songs. Today I got stuck on the B section of a really cool song I'm writing. I don't have the B section exactly right, but I'll get it. So it's good timing coming here and talking to you.
Yeah.
The rest of it's really great. Like the beginning of the verse is great. It's a really great chorus. It's really an positive song. I really like it.
And do you know when you? I mean, you talk about feeling it. You know when you have it. Do
Yeah.
you know when you have it and you can move
Yeah.
on, or do you like to experiment a little bit and go, let's try something this
Well,
here and there?
I usually know it. This one, I'm experimenting. I'm just trying some other stuff.
Yeah.
But I might be right the first time. Sometimes I'm right the first time, and I'm just, going, okay, well, let's see if I can come up with something better. If not, go with what it is.
And when you finish a song and it's finished and it's ready and you hand it over to whoever's going to perform it,
Yeah.
do you almost feel like you're handing over? Are you okay letting go to
Yeah,
let somebody take over and kind of put their stamp on it?
Well, because it's their record at that point. It's their song. I hope that they kind of, don't fuck it up.
Have people fucked it up?
It's happened, but then sometimes people make it better, sound better than it was, and it's like, whoa, like that's really cool what you did with that song, and
Do you get starstruck at all, like seeing somebody kind of take your music and turn it into something huge?
Starstruck, I get really impressed. Like when I was in the studio with Beyonce and she did, my song I Was Here.
Yeah.
It blew my head off. It was just fucking great. And it was just watching her take that song and just take it to, the best it could possibly be. Or Gaga in the studio with Till It Happens to You,
Yeah.
watching her, bring that song to life, was spectacular. And
No,
then, of course, doing it on the Oscars.
Yeah, that must have been an amazing experience.
Yeah, until and the winner is. But it was still great, and it's like that song. A lot of people say it helped start the Me Too movement. So
Yeah, that came right at that time.
Yeah, it was right before.
Yeah,
people
that's amazing.
weren't really talking about that.
It's definitely and I have noticed your songs recently with the films that you're writing for. They're taking on these kind of important subject matters.
Yeah, who knew?
And it's I mean, the world is a different place than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah. And if you could write a song, that, whether it's, I was saying it's like, I kind of look at these three songs as a trilogy with Till It Happens to You, and then Stand Up for Something from Marshall, which I was really proud of that song too. that became, that got a whole life to it. Like so many people use that song,
Yeah.
for Stand Up for Cancer, just used it for their special, and it was like it was heartbreaking, all these survivors on stage, and it was pretty amazing. And Charlie Wilson sang it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that was pretty, I was like, wow, that's, but just seeing it really made me cry. So the song I wrote for one thing became something else. And then like with I'll Fight, and it's funny because Stand Up for Something was from Marshall, Supreme Court judge, and now I'm another Supreme Court judge song with I'll Fight. So
Absolutely.
It's cool.
So for I'll Fight, when you're writing for a film, how important is the content, what the film is about?
I mean, it's really
process?
well. It's really important because first and foremost, the song has to fit that movie. The best case scenario is when that song fits that movie perfectly. Then it flies away and has another life of its own.
Yeah.
Till It Happens to You became this anti-bullying song. Stand Up for Something became Stand Up for Cancer, and a million other things. I'll Fight. I got a letter from a woman that's Special Victims Unit, and was saying she listens to that, she blares that song to inspire her to fight for victims.
Wow.
I mean, it's pretty cool. And then, and back in the day with other songs I wrote Because You Loved Me for Up Close and Personal. It's a song about, somebody dying. Michelle Pfeiffer's husband, played by Robert Redford, dies.
Yeah.
And she's thanking him in her song. And that became a wedding song, who knew?
I know.
So, they just get these lives, and I love it because, they could just exist in everywhere, and they could just be different versions, and there can, they just have different meanings, so people just embrace them, and I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you send something out to the world.
Yeah,
And
it has its own, you can't control it. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Are there any certain genres that you kind of like gravitate towards too, in terms of genres of music?
I mean, everything I do is pretty in the pop world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like soul music.
Yeah.
I love, I love all kinds of music.
Is this stuff that do you still listen to the stuff that you kind of grew up, kind of inspiring you to, is that still part of your kind of listening repertoire?
I mean, to be honest, I listen to stuff to know what's going on, because I have to be aware of the artists I work with. When I go home at night, I don't listen to a lot of music because I've been immersed in it, for 12 hours already. So, but sometimes I do, like, if it's on a Sunday or something, sometimes I'll just listen to some records I love and just kind of forget I'm, not listening with analytical ears,
Do you ever go back or do you ever listen to your own stuff, like from the past?
I should, because I should go and re-demo some songs that are really good that I forget about, because I'm always on to the next song.
Yeah.
So
you
I
never
should
turn on, if I could turn back time in the car.
No, not really.
Blasting, driving.
Not really, but I hear other people.
You do?
Yeah, I go, that's my song.
Is it weird when you hear that in the world? Like if
No,
you're
I love it.
If you're like in a restaurant and it starts
No,
playing.
what's weird is when I don't recognize it for a minute and it's my song. That's
Really?
happened. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, that sounds really good. Oh, that's my song. Yeah. Oops.
So when you're writing something that has that kind of power, and I mean, you've been responsible for making me cry or giving me chills.
I love that.
And
Nice.
does that feeling when you're writing it, does that kind of do you experience that emotional journey too? Like
Yeah. The best songs make me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you find that kind of moment, but is that, you were talking about kind of that method kind of way to do it, is it at all emotionally kind of vulnerable when you're?
Yeah. When I'm in, depending on the song, yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it's really vulnerable. Even if it's not my life.
Yeah. And when you're writing something that has so I'll Fight for or Until It Happens to You, I mean, is that writing process any different than writing Rhythm of the Night or something like that?
I mean, the writing process is the same. You're getting inspired.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're writing something for a specific movie, it has to fit that movie too, right? So, there's other opinions and other, but Rhythm of the Night was for a movie, actually.
That's right, yeah.
Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon. What's really cool? So the Rap had this Song Contenders panel like a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions that Steve Pond asked was, what's the first movie song that just knocked you out and really that you loved, and the combo of movie and song. And for me, it was like two songs. It was Born Free, and To Sir With Love. I was really little, but those songs I remember.
Wow.
And then the Soundwave, who was one of the writers on Kendrick Lamar, All the Stars. He goes, The Last Dragon. I'm like, I did Rhythm of the Night. And he like jumped up off his seat and stuff. It was so cool. It made me feel a little old, but it was still cool.
I thought it fits so perfectly for the movie. I know the movie gets a lot of shit, but Armageddon, and of course, Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I mean,
Yeah, I'm proud of that song.
That's a really great song.
Thank you. They're still touring off of that.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Aerosmith kind of
got another life.
Got another life because
they've had
you.
a lot of lives, but that one was probably their really long life. Yeah.
But I always picture that scene of Ben Affleck with the animal cracker.
Does it go south or north? Oh God, I know. Sorry. I mean, yeah. Were they cheese crackers? Cheesy. No, but you know what? Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I'm not going to ever, and I don't want to ever be somebody that puts down the use of my song.
Of course not. Yeah.
But in hindsight, yeah, it's a little bit. Does it go where the mountains are, or where the really? You know, I don't know. But.
So I mean, when you started in this business, of course, and as success kind of has taken your career where it is today, you obviously had to become a very successful businesswoman as well.
Yeah.
And you had to really know this business, of course, to protect yourself, protect your music, and was that challenging to learn this industry? I feel like it's a very harsh industry to kind of survive in.
You know, just some of the stuff has been by accident, like how I became my own publisher. You know, but you know, some of it's been just. I mean, I'm really protective of my songs, and I'm also a warrior for my songs.
Yeah.
So I don't sit back and let things happen. I make things happen. I'm very aggressive. I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. So it's not like, well, let's talk about it. And I'm like, no, let's do this. So whether it's, an Academy campaign that a studio, like, well, we don't have any money, and the label, we don't have I literally paid for the Jennifer Hudson video for I'll Fight. Wow. The label wouldn't pay. I was like, really? Jennifer Hudson's like a major Academy Award winning, Grammy winning, superstar, and you guys aren't, and this is a song she loves, and people love this, and they wouldn't pay. So I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I'll figure a way to do it, and I did, and I got a good, and we shot it in my building on the second floor, where there was really good lighting, so it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, and I was talking to Mario beforehand. This is a kind of brand new building that you're recently in. It was about 2 years or so.
Well, I bought it 2 years ago,
but
I mean, it's been here a while. I mean, it's a historical building. It used to be Solar Records. Then it was Death Row.
Yeah,
and we have, thank you, Suge Knight, for the bulletproof glass elevator.
It's a bulletproof glass elevator.
It is, yeah. So they could go on the way down, but then I guess when you open the elevator, you're in trouble. So you still better be nice.
That's amazing. But is your office? Because I was reading something that you're very superstitious. About
I don't want to change it. So I've been renting a place down the street for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So I own this place, and I have a writing room here, and we record here. I record my songs here. So I basically have two buildings. One I pay a lot of rent for, the other one, and this I own. So I'm also a landlord.
Yeah.
I have tenants, so it kind of breaks even in a way.
Yeah, just to keep your office.
My business manager finally gets why I do it. He goes, I'm not going to give you shit anymore about that. He goes, I get it. I'm like, good.
I really love that. I think that's really special.
It's just I love it there.
I mean, is that your kind of sanctuary when you go
there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like home. I've been there forever.
Yeah, I would hate.
And my cat loves it there.
Yeah, I would hate to lose that.
I'm not going to.
That's great.
I just took another lease.
Perfect.
It's insane, but.
So, everything that you've been so blessed and fortunate to do everything you have. So, but is there anything that is on your bucket list that you haven't done yet in terms of your career? Is there something a territory you haven't gone to yet that you want to explore more?
I just want to keep doing what I'm doing and doing it in a better way. I'd love to do a movie musical, the right one, like with
Oh, wow, yeah.
like the closest thing I did was Coyote Ugly. Where I wrote all the songs, and that was hugely successful. That was like a 15 million selling album.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to do something else. Again, I'm talking to some people about doing some things like that right now. So hopefully those will work.
I mean, does stage performing or stage musicals ever?
Yeah, that could be. Well, someone's actually doing that with some of my songs too right now.
Wow.
Kind of, slightly based on me, I guess.
Oh.
And then so there's a lot of cool things in the pipeline. But I'd like to do a movie musical for sure, but with pop songs.
Yeah, with pop songs. So I mean,
not it has to be kind of like what I'm my world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some of the real musicals, it's not really, you know, I didn't. It's not my thing as much.
I like the old golden age musicals.
I mean, they're great.
Oh,
I'm saying,
of course.
but like,
That's not
but the ones where it's
your
really,
voice.
yeah, it's like, I mean, no, like you can't touch like the great
Oh,
greats,
yeah.
you know. But I'm saying like where they just break in the song and it sounds really Broadway or something. It's not really, you know, my thing. 'Cause I didn't really come from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is there any what kind of a? Do you have already any ideas of a story that what a musical could be about?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
But
you
you're
know.
gonna keep them.
Yeah, I'm keeping it on the. Yeah.
Keep them secret. They're still cooking.
Yeah, yeah, because it's stuff that's working on with people. So. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no worries. Is there I mean, you've written so many songs, but and of course they're all kind of your children. But is there any one that you stands out that's very personal to you that you kind of look back on and that's like that really was like that meant a lot to you?
One that you haven't heard yet, and
Oh wow.
you're going to hear it. It's really a great song. It's kind of my song. Then, you know, I think when I wrote I Was Here, you know, I think that was not necessarily personal, but I really aspired to that song.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
I want to, you know, I mean, I want to leave my footprints on the sands of time. That's the opening line. I was like, ooh, I do want to, you know, and, you know, we all do, don't we?
That's yeah. I mean, how do you take all the love that's kind of come back to you from everything that you put out into the world? I mean, when people come up to you and go,
Yeah, you know what? It really, you know, today I was like, I did Good Day LA this morning, and someone came in. This woman, she was so cool. She goes, I want you just to say thank you for blessing, you know, me with your songs. They've gotten me through so much. That was just this morning. I was like, wow. It just really, it just gets you because like you're sitting in your room by yourself, you know.
you're not thinking about.
Yeah, you're not thinking about how
yeah.
it's. But then I was recently out and a friend of mine said, I just want you to know, and he said it kind of an obscure song of mine that I did like 8 years ago. He said it got me through my divorce. I was like, wow. So it's like I never knew that until that moment, you know. And then this was like the same night, someone was in Brazil was emailing me about I'll Fight, saying what they're going through politically there. He goes, this song is my anthem right now because we have to fight, you know, just to keep, you know, to keep going. So it's like, you know, yeah, I get all that. I mean, I get some of that, and it's just amazing. And like, I'm really thankful for it because there's nothing cooler than that.
Yeah, and it just shows the power of music itself.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, music's like powerful, man. You can't control it.
No, not at all.
You know, and I always say it goes here, not here. It just like literally just goes right to your gut and your heart and bypasses your brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, every time.
So I wanted to ask you kind of your take on, I guess, the current state of the industry, and of course, what's your take on streaming culture? You know, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all these.
I mean, they got to pay us fairly.
Right, because that's still.
You know? Yeah, I mean, what like a billion streams you get like, what is it? I don't even know what it is, but it's not.
I've seen people hold up checks for like 13 cents, like weird.
That's
like,
insane.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
That's not fair.
So
you know?
What's the, I guess.
What's the cure? I don't know. They have to fix it. They have to renegotiate that.
Right.
You know, how does someone coming up now make a living as a songwriter?
I feel like it's impossible.
Like they have to be an artist and they're live, you know, kind of thing, you know, live performances or something. But like if you're just a songwriter, like doing what I do, you know, and especially like, you know, what I do is very different because I write by myself. You know, it's like all these kind of corporate songwriting. It's like not my thing really.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And there's like 20 people on a song. I'm like, how do you guys make money on that?
Yeah, when it's split on. How does that happen?
I don't know. I just had something recently where an artist did a song of mine for a movie, and they put it in the movie and everything. And then the lawyer for the producer came back, and I guess there was 6 people that wanted their names on my song, for real. I wrote a letter back. I go, well, they weren't in my room when I was writing the song, so where were they? I mean, because you did the hi-hat, because the demo, their record sounded like our demo, so it's like they. So it's like, we got another artist. But I don't know, some of the stuff's crazy.
So you do, it is a kind of solo process for you, but when you co-write with somebody like Lady Gaga or Common.
Yeah. Well, Common wrote the rap. I mean, I wrote that song.
Yeah, I wrote the song.
And then, you know, I did the song with Gaga for Stars Born.
Yeah.
The ass song.
Yeah.
The song people love to hate, and some people really love it. But it's a fun song, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I did Till It Happens to You, and she really, they're so different, the 2 songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
But do you prefer working alone?
Yeah.
Specifically for just creative reasons? Do you not like to collaborate with other people?
I just love the process of writing by myself. Not to say I won't write with someone.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, or I haven't. You know, I have in my life. You know, but yeah, I kind of prefer my own, you know, weird process that I have.
But you still don't know what the process is. It's still
showing up.
It's just showing up.
Yeah.
Have you ever been? Have you ever just been like at the line at, you know, getting food, and something has struck you?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone says something, or like, oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Do you just like do you have like a notebook? Do you write like an idea down?
I write something down, or I use my BlackBerry for that. I still have a BlackBerry. I don't even want to do like voice note or whatever. I just want to type it in.
Type it in, and you just take it back into your.
Press save because it deletes everything if I don't. So.
Have you ever lost an idea that you?
It's happened. Not a lot, but.
So I mean, you were talking about like, you know, how do young songwriters get a start in this industry? I mean, what advice would you give to someone who's starting right now, 2019, you know, trying to get their career going?
I mean, it's, you know, just be great. You know, good isn't good enough, you know. I've been doing this a long time, and you just have to still always be out there, you know, doing your best work. And I don't know if that answered your question, but,
so
you know, just
be
in whatever you do. Like, it's the same thing being a songwriter, doing anything. You gotta be great, because good's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much competition. There's so many voices out there.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stand out.
How did you? I mean, you're talking about confidence. And sorry, going back to the beginning, but like, did you know you were standing out at the time? Like, I mean,
I just thought I was great.
Yeah.
When I wasn't, but it's okay. That's what it took, you know. And no one ever told me not to do this. You know, no one ever said like, you know, or told my dad or, you know, my parents or anything like, you know, well, one person did. I went to a guitar teacher because when I was about 11 years old, my dad got me a guitar. And I went to see some guitar teacher, and he gave me these scales to learn, which I didn't want to learn. And I went back with my dad the next week, and he said, Mr. Warren, don't bring your daughter back. She has no career in music. So that happened once. I just didn't want to learn stupid scales. I wanted to make up my own songs.
Yeah. I had a teacher, I had an English teacher, tell me that I would never be good in film or filmmaking at all.
Is that not? Yeah, but fuck them. You get to prove them wrong.
Well, you get to,
There's nothing more fun than proving someone wrong. To this day, I love proving people wrong. All the time.
It lights a fire under you.
Yep. It's the fun part. One of the fun parts.
So, looking back at from when you started and to now, I know we talked a little bit about the kind of current state of the industry, but what are some things that are going on really well in the music industry? What are some things that you'd feel like you'd like to see change? Maybe that's.
I mean, it's like what you're talking about with streaming.
Streaming,
yeah. I'd like to see them pay fairly for our work. You know, I don't know. What would I like to see changed? You know, I'd like to see changed where people, when they're producing your song, don't necessarily try to, you know, get writing credit for it, which is a new kind of thing, you know, which is, you know, kind of a strange thing, you know.
Yeah, producers trying to get writing credits.
Yeah, it happens, yeah. And, you know, I don't write to a track. I mean, I'm literally writing the song. It doesn't always happen, but, you know, like that scenario I just gave you.
That's true. If you look at any major pop song, it's like 20 people.
I'm like, what did you do?
On there. Like,
I mean, like.
It's a 3-minute song, and like, you know.
Really, did you like, what's that old saying, write a word, get a third or something? I don't know. Get a coffee and get 20%, 2%, I don't know. You know, it's a little crazy, so I don't know. That's why I like, you know, doing my own thing.
And keeping it simple, unfiltered, just pure Diane.
Exactly.
Well, Diane, I wanted to thank you so much for your time and for chatting today. It's been just great to pick your brain, and thank you so much for the music. I know everyone says it, but, you know, thank you.
But thank you, you know, I mean, I appreciate hearing you say that, and thank you for saying that. And it's like I said, it's nice to know that something you've written or work you've done has meant something to somebody. It's a pretty cool feeling, so thank you.
Absolutely.
And nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
Thank you.